Hey everyone!
Hi everyone!
Welcome to a special edition of Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
And me, Banshee.
This is our past lives reading spread.
Well, our past life reading day, it is a spread of sorts. Gosh, much to cover in the beginning about it, but let me just say to those of you who are joining us, if you are not here to get a past life reading today, join us tomorrow for our live stream where we'll do our usual general readings again. You're welcome to stay and watch. You don't have to have a reading, but I'm putting the names down in order as they've appeared in the chat because we're not sure we're going to be able to get to everybody, but we think we've devised a way to try to get in as many readings as we can and possibly offer you an opportunity to buy a more extended one later. So you're getting a free one, but the possibility exists we could do, if you like it, we could expand upon it.
The other thing is that because we are here only for 90 minutes and I'm taking up precious time, we will quickly move on to the next person if you don't respond soon. We just have to do that because we want to get as many readings done in this 90 minutes as possible.
But we do recognize that sometimes there is a delay, so we will move you down. You know, if you come back in time and you say, I was here, you'll be the next one we read for after the person we do. We'll try to keep things in order and in sequence and move as fast as we can. But some explanation is going to be in order right now from the beginning on how we're doing this.
All right.
Shall I go? I guess I have
right
to.
Ahead.
Okay, so we're using the Awakening Far Memory deck. I'm going to have him hold up the book as sort of a template for the reading. This is going to give you some information. People who have seen it before may remember, but it's going to give you information on the type of culture that you lived in, the environment, the occupation, the theme of your life, overall theme, and how you died. And so basically that, and what we're going to do is we're going to embellish these. We're going to give you the opportunity, depending on how many people we have in the chat, which I think it'll be either 2 or 3 of the positions, your choice. We'll lay down 2 tarot cards for those positions to give you more information on, let's say, the theme or how you died, who you were, your occupation.
Hey, Angel.
Things like that. Hey, Angel, get you down. So basically, that's how we thought we would do it. And if you ever wanted it expanded out, we'd give you a little bit more information from that book about the past, about these areas, and throw 2 cards for all of the positions. So you'll have to DM us or write to our email. But if you think you're interested in that today, let me know, and I will write down your name and the cards we pulled for you so that we will be able to expand upon it for you. So let's just show that. This is what I've kind of created a template for myself when I do these readings for others. We've worked with this a little bit ourselves to practice, and we think it's a very workable thing. So we hope you enjoy it. We hope you get a lot out of this today.
Let the games begin.
One more thing. If you are interested in the Remembering Far Memory deck, there's some information on here. There is a website. You can find these cards on Amazon. I think they're still available. My only caveat, I think the artwork on them's beautiful. My only caveat is I wish they were bigger. I wish they had expanded each category more. I think there's more they could have done, and it's making me think of possibly devising my own deck someday. I'm no artist.
Woohoo.
I may have to find an artist to work with on this.
We think we can do that.
But anyway, so let's get rolling.
All right.
All right, so who else do we have? Benita, are you interested in a past life reading today, or are you here just to watch? Let us know. The list is as follows. We have Benita, K Dash, Merwin, Aaliyah, Irish Capricorn, Combobulated, KC, and Angel. I see Stacy came in.
Yes, Stacy came in.
Right before KC, so I will get Stacy on the list. I
think she came in after Casey because Casey's posted about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You are right.
Of course I am.
Well, we will work it out. We will duke it out.
Benita says yes, so let's get going.
All right, Benita. We're going to get going with you right now. And we start with the culture that you lived in. We're going to lay out all the cards at once. And you can see why this takes a little longer and why we've kind of shortened it, because we wouldn't be able to fit in a lot of readings. Mr. O is going to pick the card to symbolize the culture you lived in.
Okay, a past life was in the Dark Ages.
Wow. And the next card is the environment you lived in. What kind of environment? So let's see. Pick a card. You lived by a fresh body of water, maybe a lake environment or river.
A river, tributary, something.
What occupation did you have?
Yes, we will add you, Sonali.
We'll get you on, Sonali.
Whoops. Oh,
Law.
Dark Ages law. That sounds like a real winner.
Yeah, I wonder what justice was like then. Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping you weren't an inquisitor. No, that was probably a little bit later.
Okay, and what was the theme? What was the theme, the overall theme in your life? Fear. Well, that's a real interesting one for the Dark Ages, isn't it? And finally, how did you pass from the world in this life?
A catastrophe.
Now, catastrophe to me, well, let's talk about this. So, before we do tarot and get into the other part, let's just give an overall view.
Okay.
So, in the Dark Ages, you lived in a river, maybe near a river or a fresh body of water. You practiced law in some way, or you were involved in justice, serving out justice, meting out justice.
Bailiff.
You lived with some sense of fear. The main overall thing was fear in your life, and maybe that's why you dealt with meting out. Maybe it's because you meted out justice that you feared for
You had
your
some
life.
enemies, perhaps, is what I'm picking up there, or people who feared you.
Right.
So it was an element of fear around you in your life.
But ultimately, what took your life was not somebody getting revenge on you or anything like that. It was some kind of catastrophe that happened. We'll get into that in more detail maybe in a minute. But I mean, think of catastrophes. It could be a flood. It could be a volcano. It could be an earthquake. It sounds like it was something more like a natural disaster.
Right. It took the lives of more than just a few people.
Yeah. So, what we are going to do, Benita, is we're going to ask you which area you would like a little more information on, where we could throw some tarot cards. Would you like it on the culture, the Dark Ages, the environment,
Hi, Violet.
the occupation, the theme, or your termination? You can pick two, because I think we're getting a lot of people, so... And if you want us to go into more detail and you're interested in a reading, just let us know. There will be a cost attached to that because we will do some work on that. Some serious work on that.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay, so Benita would like occupation and culture.
Okay, very good. Let's see what we have for you. All right, we are going to use the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann for this because I just think it's very beautiful and evocative, and so let's see what we get. And that's the one we practiced with, and it just went really well. So
It's a nice card deck.
I hope everybody is doing well. Sorry we're not spending a lot of time chatting with you today because we want to get in as many people as possible. And maybe we'll do this again if everybody's had a great time with it. And yes, we are thinking of doing an expanded version of this reading for cost someday as well. One more. I know I shouldn't take time shuffling. All the time shuffling. All right.
Okay, you want to pick the first two?
Yeah, so for this one, sort of like what I do at the Lenormand, I'm going to take one from the top and one from the bottom. So what was the first one, Mr. O?
The
Dark
culture.
Age. Yes, the culture. We might need those other cards out there, though, for some nuance, because they might relate.
Okay, I'll keep them nearby.
So the culture, the Seven of Swords, honestly, what a card for the Dark Ages in a way. And the world is reversed, I think of the Dark Ages as kind of like, maybe you were living in an environment of every person for themselves. You had to grab what you can, and sometimes there was a lot of underhanded, maybe unscrupulous stuff going on.
Well, I think that ties into where maybe you were with law. Maybe that was part of what you had to do, was to work with that criminal element or the risky element, the thieving element. But from the culture point of view, yes, I totally agree with Banshee. The Dark Ages may have been an age where people really had to
give me
be
the rest of those cards?
Clever. And I'm thinking also, too, that with that reversed world, it was always what you could make of it, but there was always be a little bit more you could actually do. So you actually made your way in the world, that world, but it was by the skin of your teeth, by your wits.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And there was always the idea that you were never going to get further, but you were kind of okay with where you were getting, but you knew you wanted to go further.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at the river environment too and thinking to myself, there might have been a lot of, how should I say this, fluidity there, so that, a lot of people came and went, and that's why it was kind of a dangerous environment, because you never knew who was going to come onto the scene next. Okay, so let's see, what was the other one again, the occupation?
And just going to say here, too, that because you said that, the fluidity there, too, this doesn't necessarily imply you were a lawyer. Maybe it was more likely you were part of enforcement.
That's true.
Enforcement.
That's very possible, too. So, we throw these ideas out at you because maybe it'll give you something to think on and meditate on, and you'll actually, some of this will resonate with you or take you into a certain direction.
So these are the modifiers for your occupation.
This is very interesting.
And we have the King of Pentacles upright.
And the High Priestess.
And the High Priestess.
So I really believe that you were probably in charge of, something in this field, whether it was the enforcement aspect or whether it was judge, jury, and executioner, so to speak, I feel that you were in charge and you really had to use your gut feelings about, some of these cases and how to manage and handle them. But, it seems to me that you were pretty spot on with the way you meted out this justice.
And I'm also thinking that you were probably attached to this was the feudal era, so there were lords and manors. You may have been attached somewhat to a court. You may have been the person who worked in the court, the law enforcement person. This sort of contributes to the idea of fear, because, of course, you were law most likely, and so people were scared of you or feared when you came knocking at their door. But I agree totally with Banshee that this was really about maybe you had an empathic feeling for things, and maybe this sort of moved you in that area because you were able to sniff out crime, as they say.
And the other aspect of this, Benita, is that maybe, the fear, you were there to dispel fears. You were there to try to bring order to the chaos of the world around you. So there's many ways you can look at that fear card here as the theme of this life. I want you to keep that in mind. And I think this is a very interesting reading, so I hope you enjoyed it.
All right, so let's move on.
All right. And we could, if you ever change your mind and you want a reading, I'm not writing it down, this one for you, but we have the video. So we can always go back and check what cards you had. So that might be the easier way for us to actually manage that, because I don't want to spend a lot of time writing when we should be reading.
Okay, so
that's it. Oh, I got to put it back. Let me put it back. So who is next? We've got K-Dash.
You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed that, Benita. Thank you.
Okay, K-Dash, are you interested? Are you in?
Hi. You're in?
Okay,
Just
you
say
are
so.
in.
All right.
All right, we are going to do a reading for you. I'm going to mix these up a little bit. The same cards may come up, but with different scenarios. I think this is just a fascinating deck, and I've been struggling to figure out a really good way to use them, and I think I've come up with one. But you'll have to let me know what you think.
Let's roll.
The one thing we will do when we do an expanded reading is do a final couple cards to find out what impact this has on your present life.
Okay, K-Dash, a past life for you was in a Celtic culture or area of time. So this could have been also similar to Dark Ages or early medieval or whatever, but you were in a Celtic kind of culture. And this card is the what?
Environment.
In the environment was marine, so you may have been out on the high seas.
Or at least by the shores of the ocean seas, but it looks like a marine kind of life, yeah.
You know, the Celtics, certainly more ancient that you get with them, they were also quite navigatable on the ocean too, so...
Aren't the cards nice? They really look nice. I think it was a job well done with creating them visually. This one is, of course, the occupation.
You were an artist or artisan.
Well, that's interesting, being on the seas.
Or in that environment.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you lived on the shore of an ocean, but you made your living by doing paintings of
It's possible
ocean and
you
stuff
traveled
like that.
around.
Yep. And this is the theme of your life, more or less?
Whoops, I didn't want to. There. Wow.
Creativity and destructiveness.
Well, or it's an either
or. So your life was either about the creative things, or maybe it was about something that had a destructiveness to it.
Well, considering that it says you're an artist, I lean towards the creative on this one.
Clearly. And then finally, we're at how you died. Disease. So something took you that way that maybe you were not able to overcome.
So in a Celtic culture, you lived in a marine or ocean environment. You may have traveled across water, big bodies of water, doing your work. You may have, you were an artist of sort, and clearly a creative individual. But what took you out is disease. It could be, a virus. It could have been something genetic. I mean, that would be something we would maybe have to pull some cards on and see if we got clues if you were interested in that.
What's the deck called? Stacy wants to know.
Oh, it's Remembering Far Memory. And let me put this up again. There's a website, but I think they may still be available on Amazon, but I'm not sure because they are a bit dated now. Let me see.
They're at least 10 years old, maybe older.
They were from 2007.
Yeah.
But I saw the website was still up, so I did check that before we started today.
Okay, K-Dash, which two areas would you like us to expand upon? Culture, environment, occupation, theme, or termination?
Stay there.
We'll pull the extra cards and tell you that.
Yeah, just let us know which two you'd like some expansion on.
Or if you don't, let us know that. Occupation and culture. All right.
All right. Okay. You've got the deck.
Yes.
Give me the... yeah, thank you. Perfect.
Let's do it.
Because we may need to refer back to this.
And Sunman is behaving for us today.
Well,
more or less.
Guardedly.
He's just off camera view, looking for his possible moment.
Stay.
Alrighty.
Okay, thank you. possible too, when I think of this marine life, let's see what we get. I have a thought in my mind.
Right. The cards we pull for this may actually give us feelings about the other three positions.
Did you shuffle?
I did.
Okay. All right. So for the culture, wow.
So in that Celtic culture, we see a Knight of Pentacles reversed. We also see the Wheel reversed.
So it seems to me there was struggles, people struggled over resources, maybe land or resources, because there was a lot of upheaval. I think the wheel in this case is about upheaval and, a lot of downturns that forced people to struggle and fight over land.
Life was not on a reliable consistency for maybe most people, that
At
they
least,
were
yeah.
subject to the whims of either their leaders or the environment or different things like that. And I guess since we are talking about the culture, so that does sort of give us an idea about that.
Well, these periods could span X number of years, so it's during that time span when you lived this life that this kind of thing was occurring. So what's the next one again?
Hi, Violet Ann. Sorry you couldn't make it.
Oh, sorry, Violet Ann.
The other card was the Knight of Pentacles reversed.
Yeah.
That sort of tells me that maybe there were a lot of things that were trying to happen but couldn't happen, either due to financial inputs or in general some inertias. There were, say, maybe some societal trends at that time that sort of limited abilities or opportunities. This would, as usual, mostly affect women, but in general it probably affected people from lower economic status as well.
As far as your career goes, your interests in artistry, the Knight of Cups shows a lot of creativity and a lot of heart that you put into your work. You were very creative and known for the beautiful things that you put out. But
what you loved or your love was your muse.
But we have the Justice card reversed here. So you know what? You never got a fair shake for what you did. You did things maybe gratis. Maybe you did not get paid well for what you did.
You did them for love.
You did them for love more than for, something. And people maybe did not appreciate the actual beauty and artistry that you put forth. And maybe it was just, maybe it was one of those things where you were one of those artists that were ahead of your time.
Most likely, and I'm a little foggy on the history of what constitutes a Celtic era, but I could say Celtic culture probably pervaded a number of epochs or whatever. But you may have been really the artist of that era.
Creative, and
you may have been really...
There was highly creative. Obviously, you've got the creativity along with the artist card, and I feel that just means that you were really very, very good at what you did. And maybe you got a lot of your inspiration from the sea, from the ocean. There's a water element attached to this.
But when I look at the other problematic aspects of your life back then, cycles that don't stay consistent and work against you, and the inability to have resources or to have momentum moving forward, I'm thinking that, of course, maybe, without adequate resources, people would die from disease because they didn't necessarily have the ability to medicate themselves properly or to see, good physicians about it. So that just added to that in a way, the chaos environment in the culture or semi-chaotic environment. So...
that's what we have for you.
Thanks, K-Dash. I hope you liked that. I hope that was informative enough.
Okay, Merwin, you are up. And after Merwin is Aaliyah, Irish Capricorn, Combobulated, KC, Stacy, Angel, and Sonali.
I'm grabbing a little more coffee, everyone.
Oh gosh, she's already decided she wants occupation and termination.
Well, that helps us, move along, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, okay.
Did you need a coffee while I'm here?
No, I don't actually. I'm still strumming along. Do you want a refill? Do you want to give me a warm-up maybe?
You know the Oberon.
Yes, as you can see, this is very...
Will travel.
This is very informal today. We're sipping our coffee. I hope you're enjoying your morning, your almost afternoon. I'm going to shuffle a tarot a little bit while he is away.
But my thoughts are with you and everyone.
So also, while he's gone, you know, I say this, look at those cards and really do some of your own meditation on these and decide if, you know, if this resonates with you at all. Some of you may already feel like, wow, yeah, I feel like I've been in an environment like that before. Or that I do have some feeling towards the arts and I feel like maybe it's come from a past life, etc. Oh, evening, that's right, Casey.
No coffee for Casey. Too late. You'll stay up all night. Of course, then you could watch us all night.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to get the, let's get for Merwin the culture she lived in. I will do that right now. Here we are. Okay, Mr. O, take your pick from wherever.
Merwin. At one point, you had a lifetime in Central Asia or Tibet.
Wow.
So, or at least that was the culture. We don't know for sure exactly. It could be that more or less, you know, era. But it could be a modern era too, perhaps. So let's see what the environment was like. You drink coffee all day. You're like me, except she won't let me.
Well, he keeps trying to make it for me, and I can't do it.
And you most likely seem to have lived in a forest or a wooded area, somewhere in the Central Asian or Tibet regions. And you're welcome, K-Dash.
And this is the occupation. You're always going to that side.
I know, not always though. Perhaps you were in the military somehow. There's a lot of different ranges there. You could have been support personnel, or you could have been actual, you know, warrior type, you know, soldier type.
And so what is the theme? Okay, I've spread them out.
The theme of your life was stability or instability. We'll get to more on that maybe.
Yeah, that might be. And what did you want?
Occupation and
termination. Okay, well that might still give us some info.
Wow, Merwin, that's awfully clinical. Termination.
Well, that's what I said, and that's what they call it.
But see, in reincarnation, termination, you'll be back. See what I did there?
Terminator. Okay, I get it.
How did you die? Ooh. DIAF. Die in a fire.
Well, this leads to some interesting thoughts here. Well, we will do the tarot on this, but let's just try to look at this a little bit. So it seems as though you came from a woodsy or more foresty environment. So it seems to me like it might have been a very small village, or, you know, that you were outliers. You know, you were on your own out there.
Maybe you were the village wise person or mystic that lived a little ways off in the forest.
They were in militaries.
Okay, well, you were military intelligence.
I'm just thinking about, you know, kind of like the environment. So
Sure.
The environment and also the place. So what's next?
Military.
Yeah. So here's what I think. This must have been a time of conflict, because we have that other card of the theme, which is stability or instability. So I feel like the era you were in was an era of transition, maybe of revolution, some type of upheaval going on. So there was a lot of instability and, you know, trying to struggle to find that stability. And you died by fire, which could be a number of things here. I think about that culture a little bit, and sometimes people would kill themselves by fire. There's self-immolation, it's called. But also you could have been involved in a forest fire type of environment.
Another thought I'm having here is that because we know that in Central Asia, Tibet, China areas, those were the folks that first created gunpowder. And gunpowder was then exported. And so maybe you were somebody who was working with the options of the military to do things like that.
And there could have been an explosion.
Maybe there was an explosion and it backfired, something like that. Maybe because I'm sensing that there were these military things, this instability, that this sort of lend itself to that people were taking more chances with the formulations of these powders. And so maybe your role in the military was you were actually a person who was investigating this and trying to figure out how it could be weaponized or developed for use. So
good observation, Mr. O.
Let's throw the cards then.
So she wanted one on termination and occupation.
Termination.
So let's see what it says about this role in the military.
And those are the others.
It is possible in times of war, sometimes people get enlisted who aren't truly at heart warriors,
True, and I could see that especially happening in some of the other cultures around the world.
I had shuffled really well.
I know you did.
Okay, so for the occupation, wow.
The Five of Swords. Wow.
I know. And
the Tower reversed.
Merwin, this was a life where
you were not in charge of your life. You really had very few options, and you had to suffer the mistakes of others as well as your own, perhaps.
Remember, this is to do with the military experience.
I know that, but I'm just thinking that you were what's that word?
I don't know.
The word when they make you be in the army, not drafting.
Oh, I see. When you have no choice.
Something.
Yeah, you were
conscripted. You were conscripted, I think. You were conscripted. You had to take a sword, but you never really felt totally with it. That sort of ambiguity about the Five of Swords is there. That's what that's telling me, is you were conscripted perhaps in the military.
Your heart wasn't completely in it, and I think that,
Hi, esoterics.
Hey, E.T., we'll get you on the list, or you can just watch, but I'll put you on the list.
And we'll see.
So basically, I feel that,
conscript.
The Tower also can indicate that some lessons were not learned well. It's possible here that maybe your demise was because of some failure to learn something you really needed to take away from either, let's say like what he said, you were working on the explosives and gunpowder and creating that, because you did not pay attention, because you were not totally aware, you made some calculated mistakes and errors that cost you your life. And that could be even in the military, because you were conscripted to be there, you didn't want to be there, it was forced upon you, that, your life was taken because of just a lack of experience, and that your heart was not into the role that you had to play.
The instability factor.
That falls into the Tower perfectly, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
the
I know.
Factor, and maybe the idea too that some of the people you had to work under, whoever conscripted you, whoever was in charge of the unit, whatever, maybe they didn't really have their act out together too, and so they just sort of said, "Go make this gunpowder or make these things," and you didn't have enough oversight or information to really do the job properly. They were just trying to get you out there and do it.
That's okay, T. I hope you enjoy it. You'll have to tell us what you think. So, you wanted to know about your termination and how that came about. Well, the first card I pulled is the Five of Pentacles reversed.
Okay.
And then the King of Cups reversed. I have a feeling about this here.
Go ahead.
So, I wonder if you were not in your in your role, you were trying to help people, but ultimately you were caught, and I believe you were probably sentenced to be burned. I really feel that might be what's going on here.
Well, that does seem to be maybe, at least from the American conceit, more likely the way Asian countries might handle some situations. In the modern era, some Asians set themselves on fire as a form of protest. So there is that.
There is that potential here, too, is that you did it to yourself to avoid capture. But it was clear here that it was in your role of trying to be a protector of some sort that you lost your life.
Right, and it also says to me you lost your hope too. That Five of Pentacles reversed is sort of like you lost your hope. You realized you were not getting out of this life, out of this conscription to a better life. Maybe there was somebody you had waiting for you that you really loved, but you were never going to be able to be with them too. And so because of that, it just all went away from you.
It could very well be, Merwin, but I don't know with the culture. But the thing is that it's possible here that...
As a witch, you were a military advisor, and then you didn't like the advice.
Yeah, maybe that's a possibility too.
Forest.
It is right. It is interesting. You could have been some kind of spiritual advisor to the military, and and you lost your life because either they felt you gave them bad advice, or others recognized your power that you were up against, and when you were captured, they immediately eliminated you.
Armies, whatever, conscript a lot of people for various purposes. Not everybody's going to pick up a gun or whatever. Right. I mean, maybe they conscript people for other things, people that they think are healers who can help, repair wounded persons. So
yeah, and that is the beauty of this. You can take this reading and twist it like that to say, well, I could see myself in this role, and that is perfectly fine.
Interesting.
I think that was a good reading, Merwin. That was pretty fascinating.
That was fascinating. They've all been, actually.
Yeah.
So
we think, anyway. Hey, Aaliyah, you are up. You in?
We're just interested in other people's past lives, too.
Yeah. Are you in, Aaliyah? If you want a reading, we've got one for you.
Hola!
And after Aaliyah's Irish Capricorn, combobulated, KC, Stacy, Angel, Sonali.
And we'll see how it goes.
All right.
And thanks to everybody, esoterics, whoever, who's just here to watch and enjoy, perhaps, appreciate that too. Thank you.
Or get some of your own ideas from this. That is perfectly fine.
Okay, I guess we're doing it for you then, eh, Aaliyah?
Yeah, we are.
Right. Let's go. So first off is the kind of culture you lived in.
Just go wherever, Mr. O. We got one of our more challenging cards in this deck.
Okay, this one, we were looking at the cards to get familiar, and we're like, well, what are we going to say here? I'm going to let Banshee take the lead on that. But the culture you lived in is alien.
Well, and there's a number of ways to read that card, and we'll get into that. I want to lay them all out first before I explain.
That's an interesting point, Stacy. Thank you.
Oh.
And you're welcome, Merwin.
Awesome, and that's why I thought this was a great thing for a fun event, because I felt a lot of people with knowledge of different cultures and times would have things to add in the chat. Awesome.
I think you spelled monk the right way the first time.
Oh, you silly.
This is the environment, the kind of area you lived in. And once again, you probably were in some sort of ocean area on the shores, or you were on the oceans. You might have been a sailor or traveling around, but there's a marine life. Basically.
Maybe it's talking about the ocean of space.
Ooh.
We'll get there. Hold on.
Space is the place. And then this is your occupation. Starship Trooper.
Starship Trooper.
Okay, and it says mother. We sort of extended that to the idea of families or nurturers, providers. So you could have been a parent of some sort, whether it was a female parent
You are
or a male
birthing
parent.
something, too, as a
Yeah.
possibility here.
A little alien baby.
This is going to be a fun one, let me tell you, Leah. So, what was the theme of this unusual life? Let's see how down to earth this will be. Well, we knew this card had to come up, Mr. O.
We did.
Growth.
The theme of your life was growth. There's no...
Man, do I have some ideas. I have some total ideas here. How did you die?
How did you die? From your lips, Elia. You had an accident.
Wow. Oh my gosh. All right.
Interesting.
He wanted me to take the lead, so I'm just going to run with it a little bit here. You know, the alien thing with some of the combinations of cards you've gotten here leads me on an alien path. However, it could also mean you were an alien in the land, you were a foreigner in the land that you ended up at, the marine environment. Maybe you were from another place, but you traveled to this distant
The
shore.
ocean travel thing.
Right, where you spent most of your existence. But here's the other factor. They also mentioned in this book that I thought was interesting about the aliens is that aliens may have implanted this past life memory into you. I just want to throw that out there. I'm not sure I'm going to go with that one, but Mr. O, I want you to tell me what you think of this. So, perhaps you are from another world who came to Earth on the stream of space, the vast ocean, that is space, and as a mother nurturer, you were planting the seeds of the civilization on this planet, and to grow, to birth and grow civilization on this earth. You died by accident, which could have been an accident on this earth, or it could very well have been, your ship crashed. And maybe it's very possible your ship crashed here and why you ended up here.
Hi, Paulina. I think we can put you on the list.
I will put you on the list, Paulina, but we are only doing past life readings today. Just want to make sure you understand that. So if you just want to watch, that is fine too. So what do you think of all that, Aaliyah?
Yes, you do, Aaliyah. That's very, very interesting.
So it's very interesting. And so which cards would you like more information on, Aaliyah? Would you like it on the culture, environment, occupation, theme, or termination? We'll give you two. Okay. Yeah, don't we want to know more about this alien culture? It might lead us to another conclusion, maybe, about the stream of this reading. But I'm really leaning towards the alien one. I like the idea. However, I could also see you as being somebody who traveled the ocean to another land. Let's just see if the tarot will help us out with this one. Shuffle.
I'm having a slight tech issue, but I think it's worked out.
Okay. Is anybody having issues? Would it affect them?
No, it's on our end. It doesn't affect the stream.
Okay.
It looks like we weren't charging.
Oh, okay.
And we got down really low, so then I saw the charging cord isn't in, so I'm hoping that it's connected properly, but I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, so let me get these shuffled up so we can move ahead with this.
And yeah, let's keep these here in case we need them.
Well, it may the cards we turn may give us other ideas about what we saw there.
Wow. Okay, so first one is the culture. It's like crazy these cards. We have the 5 of Pentacles upright.
Ooh.
Ready?
Death. Rebirth.
Uh-huh.
That looks like an alien to me. Reflection off of their view.
Why do I keep thinking it's leading me to that direction? You know, Aaliyah, if this means what we think, you are responsible for life on Earth.
Or some of it.
But the thing is, I feel that maybe you were coming from a dying culture, you know? Whether it was alien in nature or that is why you travel to distant shores to be a foreigner in a different land, you know, it could be either of those scenarios. And it's basically you started a new life and you started our civilizations if you were that alien from that alien culture, or you rebirthed yourself in this new culture, you know, you started over again.
This is fascinating because, of course, it doesn't disallow the fact that maybe you're from another planet, you know, a planet with humanoids that are vaguely enough like us that you could intermix. But it also says that maybe you just really transposed to such a different culture, the alien aspect. Some of this is tied up, I guess, in the idea maybe that you really had to leave something behind, and it was clear the light was saying go here, so you took, you know, the travel, whether it was by ocean or by space, to come here, and maybe you were part of a number of people who were doing that, you know, but the idea I think was because you were here to seed something, to create a rebirth, maybe for yourself or maybe for your culture or maybe for the culture of those you traveled with. I know. So
okay, and what was the other one again?
The accident.
Oh, yes. Let's see what we can get.
Wow. So you have the Ace of Wands.
Reversed.
And you have the Three of Swords. And I'm going to say that maybe sadness, sorrow might have led to the accident or might have been a part of the accident. Maybe there was some great heartbreak and maybe you were off your game and so somehow, or else the heartbreak was the accident. Maybe you had a heart attack.
Well, if they're an alien, it might be a different thing.
Sure.
But yeah, you had something that's possible. When I'm looking at that combination of cards here, I'm thinking about this venture from the dying planet. You know, your planet was dying, so you had to venture forth. Maybe, you know, you were such an advanced culture that, you know, you thought of everything you needed, but more likely maybe not. And so, you know, this was a valiant attempt to save yourself, you know, and move on. But ultimately it failed. And, you know,
I'm getting a sense that
I feel like the heartache is about the loss of your planet and your people. That people died, and you know maybe you killed yourself. Maybe it's possible that you just lost your life because of the environment you ended up with here on the planet. Ultimately, you died off, but it feels as though there was this loss, this immense loss that I feel you felt.
Well, I'm getting a sense like somehow, for whatever reason, whether you're alien to the planet or alien to the land you went to, that maybe there was some appreciable difference in longevity, like maybe the kind of genes you came from, alien or otherwise, didn't necessarily promote long life or a totally strong life, and maybe there were compromises to your system once you were here on a new planet, like the subtle differences, the kind of things you could eat were not exactly the same, so some of that depreciated health or situations.
Hi, Blah. I did get you in there. I realized when you came in now, and we might have missed you because we're so busy with these readings, but you will be second from the last, but we'll go over the list in a minute. I do know where you came in. You came in right after Sonali, it looks like.
Yes.
So I've got you.
Alrighty.
Okay. So
That's an interesting thought there too. It's just sort of a sense that maybe there were other issues about coming to a new place, whether you came from outer space or somewhere else. Dietary concerns or things like that seem to be what's hitting on me, that there was...
Well, I'm looking at that Five of Pentacles there, too. It's kind of like, I'm feeling that, again, they had to move quickly because their culture was dying. And, depending on how long you traveled in space and how long their lifespan is, they may not have had enough sustenance to survive and relied on what they found, and it ultimately may not have been enough to sustain them, or the right types of things to sustain them.
And those ideas inform the fact that you were about nurturing, about maybe, helping create a great home for your people wherever they came from. And the whole idea of growth was really, the theme of your life. You were trying to really do something. What you ended up doing was somehow getting your genetics and maybe the people that came with you into that culture. So you did do something. It just didn't work out for you in terms of longevity. I'm thinking that's what I'm feeling.
So let's bring this back down to earth a little bit. I think you did here a little bit, Mr. O. So if you were not an actual alien from another planet, you were somebody who was an alien in a strange land, a foreigner, and you had to leave your environment basically because of hardship and famine, maybe. I don't know. When I look at that Five of Pentacles, I think not enough to sustain life. And so you move forward and you rebirthed yourself there. And so the second card was about where you traveled by ocean to get to where you were, and maybe you lived seaside. And so then you took upon yourself to nurture and possibly start a family and grow something. And that was what your life was about, was growth and moving on and and starting over again, basically. And how you died was by accident. So if it was, and looking at the cards we got for that, again, it's like you said, it could be something sudden like a heart attack. It could be maybe because of overwork, because of the Ace of Wands, I feel too. Overextension. Maybe it was on a job or work that you were doing out in the field, something like that.
So that's what we have.
That's what we have for you, Aaliyah. This was a really fascinating one. But they all were, I think. I think this is working out pretty well, but what... You guys will be the arbiters of that in the end.
Hi, Kayla.
Hey, Kayla. We're only doing past life readings today, but if you're in, we'll get you on the list. Or you can just watch. All right, so right now we're on Irish Capricorn, and after Irish is Kimbobulated, KC, then Stacy, Angel Rivera, Sonali, Blah, Paulina, and Kayla.
You never know.
It's very possible. I certainly believe in the possibility. I can't believe we're the only people in existence.
I'm into the ginchiness, of course, of Godzilla movies, and my favorite Godzilla movie is Ghidorah. Well, it's one of my favorites. And there's a princess who's on the run, and she has an accident, and then suddenly she remembers that she's really a Martian who has prophetess abilities, and that the Martians had come to Earth because their planet was dying. They had integrated into our culture. It's fascinating.
So, Irish Capricorn, are you here? I just needed to get that out there.
Sure. You are added, Kayla. Irish Capricorn. If you're not here soon, we will just put you down on the list because we're going to try to keep moving. We actually have less than an hour now. Almost only a half an hour.
Right, so just let us know you're here. I'm not seeing Irish C.
Can you tell how many are in the chat room now?
10.
Okay. Hard to say.
We may have to move on. Just say you're here, Irish, if you want the reading, and if not, we'll move on.
Irish. Okay, I think we're going to have to move on.
Okay, we're going to keep them there for now, but we're going to move on to Kim B.
Kimbobulated, are you here?
They are small decks, Angel. This is just part of it. This is the one part,
It's divided up into 5 categories.
Yeah, there are
and there's
5
about-
categories of cards. You have to separate them. They have symbols on the back so you know which is which. This is the symbol for the culture.
You're in for a reading, right, Kim?
Yeah, Kim. Yep, I think so. There's a smiley face there.
All right, let's
we're
go.
going to go. All right, Kim.
So this first card is the culture that you might have lived in. And we're seeing that maybe this was a South American culture.
And this one is the environment. They have diamonds on the back. And some decks are thinner than others. That's why I say I wish they had
More cards.
expanded this
Yeah.
more. I feel they could have. But it's a beautiful concept. I really love it. And it works well with the tarot.
Yeah. This is your environment. And once again, we got the marine. So you lived somehow in
near
access
bigger
to
bodies
ocean,
of water.
Bigger bodies of water, right.
And now we have the occupation, which the occupation has these squares on the back. And it's also color coded as well. There are different colors on the back. Wow.
Well, you were in a governmental structure. You were probably involved in the control of the area you lived in.
We have the theme. And they are red with crosses on them.
Ox.
Oh, interesting. Okay, we'll get to that.
The theme of your life was either love or indifference.
Which means either you were a warm, nurturing kind of government official, or you were indifferent to things. This could also maybe play into your interpersonal relationships. We'll see
Right.
what we come up with. You may want to explore that one with tarot. I don't know. We'll see what you think.
You were
Well.
attacked. Your passing was involved being attacked and murdered or killed. That's kind of ooky.
That's kind of ooky, so it's kind of a jarring.
So we're gonna.
Well, let's look at it a bit. Oh,
Whoop. Go ahead.
and it wasn't even a cat.
Just go ahead, please.
All right, so we have a South American culture. So there's lots of areas in South America's huge. So, but it looks as though you were by a body of water. And I'm going to say that maybe you might have taken some seafaring trips. But to me, I feel like you were in governance in that area. So you lived by the large body of water, the ocean, but you did not travel it. And
Yeah, that's just where you lived.
the love and indifference could mean a number of things to me. This could be about your interpersonal life, like maybe you did not have a relationship, you were single. It's possible you did not have a relationship, or that love played a role in your life. This could also speak to how you governed. Did you govern with callous coldness, or did you govern with love in your heart?
Right, because either of those would be themes, that you are basically a caring person, or maybe you're kind of indifferent to people, and maybe that did work in terms of how you were governed. Maybe you were selected or went that way because of the fact that you had one or other of those feelings. You really wanted to help people, or you really wanted to keep people in their place.
Right, and the attack, clearly, it might have been during a time of upheaval, or somebody did not like the decisions you were making. Maybe they were harsh on certain segments of the population, etc. And so you were attacked and removed.
So which 2 areas would you like us to expand upon? Culture, environment, occupation, theme, or termination?
Occupation and theme. That's a good choice, I think. Okay. Yeah, it's this multifaceted deck, Angel. It is so cool. I have another deck that's lost somewhere in my many decks called the Phoenix cards, which were also a reincarnation style deck. I hope to find them again too because I'd like to try to work with them. I feel they were a little bit more limited in scope than this deck is.
Hi, Libra.
You missed your turn, Libra.
No, that was Irish.
Oh, Irish. Oh, yeah,
Remember,
Irish missed their turn. Do you want a reading, Libra? This is past life readings only today, but feel free to watch if you don't.
Right, and technically we're only here a half an hour, so it's hard to say if we're going to be able to get to everybody or not.
We might have to move it quicker, so I'm going to keep talking.
Okay,
right,
my turn?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
The Oberonificant Shuffle. There, I'm done.
And I think this is going so well, we probably will do this again someday. And you can always have a second reading, because obviously I feel people have been here more than once. I know I have. I've been around. The block. A few
We've been
times.
around together. A lot.
That's right. All right, so occupation first. Oh. Oh.
You were probably charged with handling tasks swiftly. You might have had to do things that were really expeditious, like maybe you were...
Well, you just say the cards, put them down.
Eight of Wands. Six of Cups.
Okay, go for it.
Well, I'm thinking that there was a quality of expeditiousness about how you handle things governmentally. Maybe you had a particular focus that dealt with people's lives. Maybe you had to do something with children's care. Maybe you had to foresee or take care of children who didn't have parents or who had structures that had diminished on them. Something like that. Maybe that was a governmental position for you of sorts. The welfare of children.
Well, I feel that the Eight of Wands is like a lot of energy. You devoted a lot of time and energy to this work, and also it took up a lot of your space. And also you communicated with a lot of people. There was a lot of communication. The Six of Cups to me, upright, is indicating also that what you did had a lot of firm foundation in how things were done in the past. You seem to follow structures and guidelines that were set in stone. And I think a lot of these were positive because the cups are about emotions and nurturing, which leads us into the theme, I think. Let's pull these cards before I go further on that. Look at that. Yeah.
So it was about love.
So I had this perfect thought I wanted to throw out there because I was waiting for this. Can't believe these cards are so informative. So the Ace of Cups means to me that you you did these decisions with heart. You put your heart behind it. And the Page of Swords is also indicating you were very, you were learned. You were learned in the laws and the ways that you had to govern things.
I'm thinking that you were the kind of person that maybe was a liaison or worked in between liaisons and different groups of people to meter the job you had to do. I still get this feeling like maybe it might have involved the welfare of children or dependents.
I feel it definitely had to do with the welfare of the people because that Ace of Hearts and the Six of Cups there, most definitely. And you devoted a lot of your time and energy to this. Now it's
diplomatic, graceful, talented, tactful.
So why did somebody attack you? Why did somebody take you out? It's possible they were jealous. It's possible that they wanted to rule more with an iron hand. And you really were there with your heart and looking out for the welfare of the people.
Well, I don't know that this is a situation, but I know that like in modern domestic abuse cases, there are people who try to look out for somebody who's being abused. And sometimes the other person tries to get revenge. They didn't like that the court said, no, you have to pay restitutions, you have to do this. We hear about this all the time. Maybe it was the result of a bad case where you tried to help somebody and the opposing person just didn't like what you were doing.
it does sound like you put everything into your career, I think. I really do.
Absolutely, Kim.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It took, I feel that. I do. I feel like possibly, they were your family. That the culture was, the civilization you were in was your family.
Love.
Yeah.
Not indifference. Love.
So you may have been single in this lifetime and married to your career. So that's what we have for you, Kim. Interesting stuff for sure. So we're going on to KC now, and then Stacy, and after that is Angel, Sonali, Blah, Paulina, Kayla, and Libra. Oh, well, you know what? If we have to go in a little overtime, I'm game, but we're going to keep moving. And I think if you just miss your turn, you're out, because we can't take any more readings after Libra Cuss.
Yeah.
We are done.
So anybody...
But we want everybody to have a good time and get something out of this.
Okay, so go ahead. You want it, right, Casey?
Oh, yeah, Casey said hello.
Occupation and theme.
He wants occupation. Okay, all right.
Thanks, Kim. That's because you're amazing.
Well, some of this just came to me, I'll be honest with you. I've worked with these cards before, but I've been trying to devise a way to work with them with the tarot. And so I think I did.
You're a genius.
I don't know.
I don't deserve you. But I'm the one you got.
Well, stuck in the middle with... Wait a minute. Middle of what? Middle of Mr. O's craziness.
You like that craziness.
I do. Never a dull moment. And he certainly was helpful, asking questions that really helped me figure out, can this be done? Can that be done? So, all right. Let's see. Let's see the culture.
Oh, wow. We're going way back, Casey. You brutal caveman. Prehistoric.
Whoa, awesome. Well, it's going to be funny if we get some kind of...
I wish Gina was here because I would have to say, look, it's a wand.
It's more like a club, a better.
Club wand.
Okay, it's a giant, it's a thick wand. We need to go into this. Okay, environment. It's a family show, Mr. O.
Your environment was a prehistoric city.
So some type of, community.
A community.
A cave-dwelling community.
But city would imply was a larger grouping. So maybe, this was actually a large amount of people that were gathered in a prehistoric era.
Agree.
A proto-city or a beginning of a city.
And now, what kind of occupation?
How fitting, agriculture.
So, probably as the prehistoric era was moving into agriculture, right? Because it went from hunter-gatherers.
Hunter-gatherers were first, but women were always sort of working with the agriculture. But eventually, all of that changed and more people became agrarian, more people became that.
You were at some turning point, I think.
In a city, because cities only grew, prehistoric or otherwise, because they were able to
sustain
food.
Themselves.
The Clan of the K-Bear, that's right. I love that book. I love the first one, especially the way it ended with that whole vision thing with the Neanderthals. Oh, that was so awesome. This is the theme of your life. Oh, God, this all fits together. Abundance or penury.
Or famine.
Yeah. I'm wondering what that last card's going to be.
Let's see, Casey. Certainly, there were many ways to die back in the prehistoric era.
No.
Oh, no.
Suicide. And there wasn't any rock and roll, so you weren't a rock and roll suicide like Bowie.
All right, let's take a look at this for a moment here. So we have the prehistoric era, which to me, it seems like it's later in the prehistoric era, around the time that agriculture started to take root.
Well, it was clearly before there was more historical records.
And city, in this case, I believe, is more like little huts or caves,
But
things
it's a
of
larger
that
gathering.
nature. But yes, there were where more people were gathered together.
So it was a large settlement of folks.
So you helped with agriculture. You worked the fields, or you managed people who worked the fields. It's one or the other here.
You could have been involved in the distribution process.
Yeah,
'Cause
something
the
to do with the
distribution of these
agricultural
things
process.
sort of went along with the creation of stronger cities, bigger cities.
And at feast or famine, there could have been one or the other. And I guess, is that one of the areas we're looking at, the theme? So we will see what that has, we can add to that. And suicide. One wonders if this has to do with either the drudgery of the job or the fact that, people were starving, you were not being able to supply enough, and you felt hopeless, and you maybe you killed yourself.
It could have been the kind of situation where maybe there was such a famine that devastated a whole community that maybe suicide was a way of making sure somebody else would get something, there would be less of a mouth to have to be responsible for. It may have been a noble suicide because you wanted your child or your mate
gave
or
your
something.
life so others could. Yeah, that's a possibility as well. Yeah, so think about that, and think about how
Theme
that
and
could fit into
termination,
this environment.
absolutely.
So which one?
Theme
And termination. Okay.
So we'll leave those there. And the theme we said was either abundance or famine, penury, and the termination was suicide. Alrighty, Casey. Yes, Divine You, and today we're only doing past life readings. We probably really can't take any more.
Yeah, I think we're going to go into overtime on this one because we still have a number left. But you can watch this, and we may be doing this again. And one of the things we said when we promoted this is that you had to get here early. Because if you don't get here at the start, there's no guarantee we can fit you in for a reading.
Yeah, we're just trying to do as many as we can.
Because they're more involved.
But it's always nice to see you, and thank you so much for
Absolutely.
everything.
Whoopsie.
We will be back tomorrow, of course, for our regular live stream.
If you're
from
looking for
2
your
to 4.
regular readings, tomorrow's the day. This is just a fun thing we thought we would do during the, and enlightening, I think. Gives you something to think about. And even if this past life does not resonate with you in any way, it may get
Thanks,
you
Angel.
thinking about this process.
Totally, Angel, because I'm loving these stories too, and I can tell from the chat room that people think it's pretty interesting. We appreciate knowing that. Sunman is even staring at the cards.
All right, so the first one is the theme. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, the theme. Look at that.
Oh dear. Ace of Pentacles reversed. The Sun reversed.
So it does seem like it might have been a time of famine or hardship, as the agriculture was taking root. I am sure, there was a lot of failure. And also maybe because they weren't doing things at the right time, crops failed, maybe there was floods, and, there were environmental factors involved.
Prehistoric times. Every time I watch one of those 1 million years BC movie, it always ends because there's a volcano that blows up and everybody runs away or gets killed. And I'm thinking volcanoes, they claim, add so much soot to the air that it blocks sunlight, and then plant growth is in jeopardy. And I'm wondering if maybe you lived in a remote time where maybe something happened like that, or there was a natural thing that happened that caused sunlight to be affected, and maybe plant growth was really jeopardized. And of course, the Ace of Pentacles, nobody got nothing because everything was really messed up. And
so I feel there was a lot of despair and feelings of, lack of hope. There was a lack of hope for the future. So let's see. And then the termination.
No, I don't think we saw that, Divine. Hold on.
Oh, well, it's a question. We're doing past life readings, Divine. We're not taking questions.
Right, this is a special show. That's why it's on Saturday.
Yeah, this is a special show.
Let me try to take that up with you later, okay? Because we want to get through this reading
Yeah.
so we can do more, because we're really on a very limited time here, and I'm sorry for any
Oh, it was on
misunderstanding.
Thursday's show. Okay.
Okay,
I guess
I'll
we
address that
did
with you.
miss it. So we'll talk to you about
Sorry
that.
about that.
Maybe we'll try to get you in tomorrow, first thing if you can join us.
Yeah.
All right. So as far as the demise goes, we have the Four of Wands. I've got thoughts on that, reversed. And then we have Temperance. So this is, and it's upright, but in this case of your termination, and considering that it was suicide, I have the feeling that the Four of Wands is indicating that because things failed, the foundation or the crops that you were planting and whatever did not produce the desired results, there was trying, it was hard for you to cope with that. It was hard for you to find your center again and cope with that feeling, immense loss that you were seeing, people starving around you, people begging for food, just a lot of despair that you could not take it.
I feel, too, that to some degree, maybe people around you, the ones that were closest to you, they didn't really want this to weigh on you, but there was no way it couldn't. They wanted to present a better picture, but I'm thinking you could see through that, or you weren't really, affected that.
You had a very sensitive nature and empathy, and I feel that was too much to bear. It was just too much to bear.
It was a sadness for you, and you felt this was the better way out, that maybe, there would be a sacrifice because of this. A sacrifice meaning something better is achieved or something.
Well, and I like what you said in the beginning about possibly sacrificing yourself so others could be fed.
A noble
That's
sacrifice.
possible too.
Alrighty.
Wow. That's what we have for you, Casey.
Thank you so much. In any life you have, you are a sensitive soul and you really think about others.
Stacy, are you with us? So, Angel, did I get that right that you did not want a reading today, or are you interested? Because after Stacy is Angel, so that's why I'm asking.
Thank you, Casey. I hope you enjoyed that.
Ah, awesome, Casey. So, Stacy, are you with us? Just let us know.
I know Stacy was here a few moments ago.
Okay.
So. All right.
Okay.
We're going to do the reading then.
So after, all right, yeah,
Well, you may
okay,
be the
well,
last
you're
one. I
next,
don't know.
Angel, so no, we're going to keep going.
We're going to keep going.
with our list.
Hey, I'm Union here. I need a coffee break. Oh, wait. All I've been doing is have coffee.
Because we really don't have that many names left.
Gotcha.
Sonali is after Angel, then Blah, then Pauline, Kayla, and Libra if they want a reading, which I'm not sure.
Alrighty.
Okay. Shuffle those, and I will get this ready. And then we'll just be
Deep
ready
in depth.
to...
Deep dive, please. Uh-oh.
Okay, Sandra, we're only doing past life readings today, and we're not going to be able to fit you in. So, sorry about that. It's a special reading day. And it is a surprise, but this is just past life readings. But feel free to stay and listen. And we will be here at our usual time tomorrow for our usual readings.
Okay, those are ready when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm going to just move them to the side, and I know. All right, so we are doing the...
Stacy.
Yes, I know.
Culture.
We are doing the culture. Okay, Stacy. Oh, first card. Rome.
Wherever you roam, you are there.
Well, that's pretty specific. Of course, there were different eras in
Hey,
Roman
it could
culture.
be the Vatican Rome.
Oh.
The culture, the environment. So the Roman era, of course, was everywhere in the ancient world. You could have been somewhere else than Rome.
A town.
But you were in a town. A town is not a city, so it was a smaller
Smaller
area,
environment.
smaller environment. And then your occupation. Yeah, it's a beautiful deck. Yeah, we see you. I mean, we're doing your reading now, Stacy. And like somebody else earlier, you were an artisan, an artist of some sort.
Well, an artisan could be somebody who makes other things like pottery, usable things, I feel. It could be decorative.
And the theme of your life at that time was about justice or injustice.
Okay.
So we'll have to pour into that. And your termination.
How did you die?
And you already picked theme and termination as a deep dive.
Yes. All right.
Your termination. You were attacked too.
Okay.
Et tu, Brute.
So interestingly enough, so you're a part of the Roman Empire, or in Rome, let's just say. It could be other time
Or
periods.
Roman times.
Yeah. Over there we have a town. It's a small town, which Rome is a big city. So my feeling is you are outlying the area of Rome.
Mm-hmm. And you somehow did crafty things. Maybe you made pottery, as Banshee suggests, or you did some sort of artishness or creative aspect.
Perhaps you did sculptures for people. It's possible as well. Let's put that back a moment. The justice injustice thing to me could be about, people not paying you appropriately for the work that you did, but not giving you credit. Things of that nature. You trying to get your just due, trying to get what you deserve. It's possible, too, that maybe this is another aspect of your life, that it's not necessarily relating to your job as much as it is, the way you lived. And maybe there was some injustice done to you.
Well, it's probably cliche, but, some of those ancient Roman eras had persecution runs. Persecute the Christians, or then Roman Christians persecuted pagans, whatever it was. So it may be that this theme suggests that you might have been somebody who would not always necessarily be well thought, be persecuted, or maybe you were on the other end of it. You were more of a favored personality, and maybe you worked for justice too. You're getting something different.
No, I'm getting something different. I really think the justice injustice card lines right into the attack card. I like what you said, the part where you were talking about the possible persecution, and you were attacked for either your beliefs, you were attacked for the way you lived, there was something that somebody did not like, whether it was the government, the governing forces, or the people that you lived around, and you were attacked for that. So sometimes I feel that card of the theme, could revolve around your social life or your life as opposed to your career.
Well, and
that's what I'm seeing
clearly here. It may be one of the positions that has the most to do with how your life ended up.
Yeah. So again, what are the cards we're looking at? We are looking
the theme
at
and the attack, or the termination.
Wow.
Our first card for the theme is the World Reversed. The Nine of Pentacles. You just wanted to live alone. Oh,
darn you. I said, may I, and he went.
But the world was changing, and maybe it was that era where either we moved from more pagan to more Christian or something like that. The world changed. You only wanted to live in peace. Maybe you had a certain level of comfort due to
craft.
Your craft. But the world changed on you, and maybe you became one of the persecuted.
Dead on. I was really pretty much going to say that you just wanted to be left alone. You had some comfort around you from the work that you've done. You were always striving. You were always striving to be better and more. You were kind of a perfectionist with the world there reversed, I feel. That you were never satisfied completely with your work, but you just wanted to be left alone and you were doing fine. However,
I just took the world reversed as the idea that your world turned around. And because I see this connection between maybe how you died and also the fact that there was this injustice thing going on.
just look at either of our perspectives. Any of them could be right.
All right.
And so the attack.
The High Priestess reversed.
And I'm going to jump in first before he starts this time. But that's okay. I'm glad you started with the first one. You literally took the words out of my mouth.
You're probably taking the words out of my mouth.
No, I doubt it.
Is that fair?
No, I doubt it. I think you were attacked by people who really had were only surface people. No depth to them. No depth of character. They were kind of like rogues and thugs. I really feel that with the King of Swords, and they were meting out their own brand of justice on you.
Well, to me, that High Priestess reversed maybe says you were a person whose wisdom was rejected. Maybe you were of the old ways, and so this stuff started to become less popular as things changed over to a new environment, Christianity, whatever, and maybe, you were a person who is mystical or something like that. You're mystical now, and they could not accept your wisdom. They denied your wisdom.
That's what we have for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, Angel Rivera, you are up, and we're going to give you a reading because you did sound interested. So, and feel free to wait if you want to see how the cards fall. You can do that.
Mean Girls. That's right.
Mean Girls. Funny. Yeah, I like that.
Well, it's one of those things that I feel about women's lib that, we just don't have enough women who want to believe in themselves. They would rather just be in the life that they have, and they don't really believe in their own empowerment. They sort of feel this is their role to be a mom or whatever. Of course you can be a mom.
You can be empowered and be a mom. I don't want to be that.
Right,
yeah,
but what I'm trying to say, maybe I can't express it well, the idea that they believe somebody else's role for them rather than finding their own role.
No, they believe maybe they believe in wanting to play a subservient role and being taken care of, as opposed to, being more empowered and out and conscious out there. But women should be allowed their place just as men should be allowed their place. And, of course, with the fluidity of gender, that we now have, all of these things are subject to change. And it should be allowed their space.
What was that movie from a few years back?
I'm going to give you these to shuffle again.
The Satyricon or something like that. And it had this hermaphrodite who is worshipped as a demigod. We don't get that anymore.
So we obviously are going to go into overtime, but it is no big deal because we only have, we have a few. But we'll get there.
We love you and we want to do it.
I'm really enjoying this, and I think we wanted to read for a fair amount of people, as many as we could. So hang in there with us if you haven't gotten your reading yet and you're on the list.
All right, here you go.
And right now after Angel is Sonali, Blah, Paulina, Kayla, and Libra Cusp if they want a reading. All right, Mr. O, I'll pick those up, but why don't you pick the
Culture
card.
Oh, Angel, we have you in South America. How interesting.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So, maybe this wasn't a distant past life. Maybe it is. Maybe you were back there early on. Let's see what we get.
So this one will be your environment, the kind of geography or land you lived in. And you were in a forest.
The Amazon?
The Amazon, maybe? Who knows? Your occupation. Thank you, Stacy. We love you too.
And Thank you, Stacy. We appreciate that. We're glad everybody seems to be enjoying this. This was
real fun.
Just like our working together, this was like we didn't know what to expect trying to do this for the first time.
What did Mr. Angel do back then?
Pick one.
Oh.
Wow.
You were in a religious setting. You may have been a priest or priestess or some sort of person who performed religious services.
Ritual.
And this one is the theme of that life. Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Doesn't that fit in?
Because, of course, in many societies, the religious
held the real power.
Right, or they were sort of aligned with the state power, the actual power. So that was the theme of your life.
All right, well.
Hi, Estelle. This is only past life readings, and we are probably finishing up, so we're not going to be able to take any other readings right now. So
we are done with the list because, we're going into overtime to finish the readings we have.
And it was another accident.
Well, at least you weren't murdered for your beliefs or things of that nature, but it looks as though you were in I'm going to speculate, an Amazonian culture because it was foresty, thick foresty, and that you were definitely into some ritual religious stuff. So this might go back a ways. And power was the theme. Religious, it was probably in a time and an era. You
were the head of the priestly unit of some sort.
Well, maybe. But I do feel that religious leaders were looked upon as the power. The power even behind the throne. And you died of some sort of accident. So what is it you'd like us to toss out there for you? Either let me go through that again, the culture, environment, occupation, theme, or termination. Feel free to watch us, Sal. Sorry, we told people to get here early today for this special pop-up. And it's only on past lives anyway, so you may or may not be interested.
We'll be back tomorrow for our regular scheduled show with regular readings.
Yeah.
Okay, Angel, what do we got?
Yeah. So pick your poison.
Yeah, we need to expand on 2 of those, so just tell us what you want. Or don't make us pick them.
Occupation and theme.
All right.
Awesome.
Occupation and theme.
Wow. All right. You ready for this one?
Okay. The first card is the Queen of Swords.
See what I mean?
The second card is Judgment. And you said you gravitated towards this.
Wow. So you were somebody who was in a position to make life or death decisions in a way in this world. I hate to say this, Angel. I can't help but wonder if ritual sacrifice might not have been involved.
Oh, right. We're talking Aztecs or something like that. They were more Central American, right?
Not necessarily, though, but I just have to wonder about that in regards here. It could mean other things as well, that, you were very sound in your judgments, obviously, but, you really told people I think you really instructed them into how to really live their lives, and what prices they had to pay if they were not living according to, the religious law.
Yes. To me, it seems mostly like you tried to be the good judge, but you were also about being the judge that needed to happen, i.e. harsh if you needed to be harsh.
So I look at those 2 different ways here, it's very possible. I mean, hey, if we lived in those past times, some of the things that happened were, brutal. So, but they were also done for a reason, and at the time for those populations and cultures, they made sense.
So then on the power, the theme. The Five of Cups reversed. And the Queen of Wands upright. How interesting.
So I feel like you were a religious leader that truly wanted to make your people move forward in a positive and a loving direction. So, I mean, it's funny, someone would say, oh, get rid of the ritual sacrifice. True, but maybe not necessarily. Because a lot of times those things were done because they felt that the gods needed to be appeased that way. They were loving gifts to the gods. And there were times that people offered themselves up to be those sacrifices for that reason.
Right. Some of those cultures, actually, it was really considered special if you were meant to be sacrificed.
So I think whatever way that went, you were there to move your people forward in a positive direction and have them, not think about the heartaches and the different losses they may have had to go through, but to focus on, the future and what's ahead and to make a better life for themselves.
I think personally you always really were in tune with the idea that there was something greater happening to humankind, or at least your group of people in the future. Maybe you also had the feeling you wouldn't necessarily live to see that day, but it seems to me there's that level of devotion is coming through too, and that maybe this is why you had the power, because people really respected what your sense of wisdom and justice for the community was.
Really fascinating reading, Angel. Sounds like an interesting life. So that's what we had for you, and we are moving on to Sonali now. So let us know if you're here, Sonali. Yeah, form of teaching,
yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
I could see that.
I agree with that, yep. Sonali.
Yeah, just say yes, you're here, because otherwise we're going to move to the next person.
Thank you.
Hey, Champagne. Unfortunately, you're too late to get a reading. We got to close the list because we're going into overtime right now to finish them. But feel free to watch this because we're going to do something like this again sometime. And if you're interested in a past life reading, that's all we're doing today.
And we won't be able to do you, though.
No, we can't today because our list is closed now. And so we're waiting on Sonali. Sonali, are you with us? Just let us know.
This is really your last call because we do have to move on here.
Yep.
So if we don't see you in about 3 seconds, we're moving on to the next person.
And good morning to you, Champagne. It's good to see you again. And I think I saw you liked our page on Facebook. Thank you for that. I think that was you.
Yes, we saw that. Thank you. Casey says we've lost people in the chat room, so
yeah,
who
so
is
we're
next?
going to move past Sonali. Yeah, do it and watch the read. This has been fascinating. It's
been fascinating. People have really
loved
loved
this. In my
this.
mind, it's worked out better than I imagined. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So, Blah, you are up. Are you here, Blah? I know you were waiting for your turn.
Go, Blah, go.
Just say yes and we'll go for it. Do I want to shuffle the cards again? Why don't you shuffle first?
I did already, but
then
I'll just give a little more. And maybe Blah's not here either.
We'll give Blah just another minute or two. Well,
not even a whole minute.
Not even a whole minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, Angel. Yep. It's like the human condition. We really are all humans, and we just have this myriad experiences across the channel,
Okay, I don't see Blah.
So who's next?
Who is next on the list is Pauline. Are you with us, Paulina?
Paulina? Maybe we end.
We'll see. Paulina, just say yes and we'll move forward. I'm going to cut them and you can pick them up and give them back to me. Okay, I am not seeing Paulina. So let me cut the cards, just pick them up and give them. I'll get.
Uh-huh. Who's next?
Okay, after Paulina is Kayla. Hey, Kayla, are you here? Well, that's what happens. Just say yes, Kayla.
You've been such a good boy for us today. There's no reward for that.
Oh, yes, there is.
This
There's
reward.
snuggles
This
galore.
reward. Yeah.
So no to Paulina. Kayla. Kayla, are you with us?
Time's a wasting.
All right, we're going to move on to Libra. I know Libra's here. You
Yes.
want a past life reading, Libra?
I'm sure she does.
We're going to give you one to
Here
end
we
the
go,
show.
Libra. You already shuffled those, I thought.
Well, I guess I shuffled them again. So, shuffle them one more time and cut them. I'm sorry, Mr. O. You know me.
Great way to stay on target.
I know.
Yes, he has been. She read the riot act to him just before we started.
I did.
Okay, don't shuffle again.
I won't. I promise. I just can't stop shuffling cards. What can I say?
Okay, so Libra, this is for you. This is your culture. Libra cusp. One of your past lives was in the Greece culture, the Greek culture, which is a little more ancient than the Roman culture.
We haven't had a lot of repeat cards, really.
Well, we had attack and we had marine a number of times. Okay, so then the
I'm
environment.
trying to pick them up. Why can't I?
There is no try.
I don't know why. My hands are losing it.
Try not.
Well, what a great way to spend a Saturday morning. All right, so
Your environment during that cultural time was again in the forest. Very cool.
in a wooded area.
A wooded area. No kidding. That's interesting to know.
Ah,
Your occupation.
let me spread them out here. Okay, take your pick.
Oh. And you were also in the clergy too, or in a religious position of
You
some
know, there
sort?
were so
occupation?
many temples in ancient Greece, if this is going back to ancient times. So, kind of interesting.
So then we want to know what your theme was, the theme of your life, what it revolved around. Creativity or destructiveness. So we're going to figure out which one that was for the most part.
Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah. And then how was that life ended? Water.
So that could be a lot of different things. That could be flood, an accidental drowning,
A ship sinking.
a ship sinking. Absolutely.
So let's
All right,
go through
let's
it.
let's look at this a little bit before we go further. So you were in the Greek culture.
The implication is mostly in ancienter time. Greece exists now, but the implication is that you were more in the Greece classic period.
It seemed like there was some woods surrounding you or some foresty type areas. That maybe there was some temple deep in the woods that you were a part of, because obviously it's showing a religious life. But that's not to say, you may have lived there, but that's not to say you didn't go somewhere else closer to the water. Or if that area did not flood, some river flooded, some catastrophe happened. This could be a number of things. You could have been drowned. I mean, it could have been a deliberate drowning. It could have been a shipwreck, as he said. There could be a number of reasons why this occurred, but water was involved in some way. Water deaths are interesting because from what I understand, and I don't know if this is true, if anybody can back me up on this, I have heard that a lot of people, what they pull them out that are drowning victims and stuff, they look very at peace and calm and serene. And it's kind of like, I think they said there might be this process of endorphins or different things happening, chemical reactions in the brain that seems to make the transition very, non-traumatic. So there might be some fear and things that led up to, the moment of drowning, but that actual moment of death, there's a kind of peace that occurs.
So Libra, we need to know what 2 areas you would like us to expand on. So please tell us, do you want to know more about culture, environment, occupation, theme, or termination? And we'll pull some extra cards and see how that goes.
And we'll give you a moment. And don't forget, we will be here tomorrow for our regular readings for people from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow morning, I will be doing my Material Matters, which is probably going to be taped right after this show. Well, with a little break in between.
Libra, if you're with us, go ahead and tell us that. If not, it may be that you're gone and this will be the conclusion of your reading.
Yeah, Libra, just which would you like us to tell you more about? The culture, the environment, occupation, theme, or termination?
And I'm going to say that maybe Libra's not here, so we may...
Well, we could throw a couple cards because you know what? If she doesn't answer, I'm looking at 2 things here that look interesting to me.
Water.
Well, I'm thinking the creativity and destructiveness. I want to know more about that. And I want to know more about the possible death. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to just go ahead and do this for you, and when we hear from you, we'll tell you can review this.
Well, you could review the tape, yeah.
So I'm going to throw these over there. So we're going to look at the theme of your life, creativity, destructiveness. That is kind of interesting.
Kayla, I'm sorry we didn't do Kayla, right? Sorry you missed your turn.
Yeah, we're sorry.
We had to move on, and so...
This was going to be a real tight operation here.
Because we are over time. We called you for a bit.
So this first card is the 4 of Pentacles. Your second card?
Yeah, and the second card is the 7 of Swords reversed.
Okay, so that's interesting.
Okay, in the sense of in the sense of the theme, it seems as though you were very much into accumulating resources. So I have a feeling that you used your religious background, it's religion, right? Mm-hmm. To come up with, actually, I think you've used your religious background. Let's look at, I'm sorry, what's the other one? Creativity or destructiveness?
Mm-hmm.
You may have used your religious background to accumulate wealth, as opposed to for spiritual pursuits.
Okay.
It's kind of what I'm looking at here. So on some level, to me, that's a destructive element to it.
Right. Well, the 7 of Swords reversed maybe, to me, possibly implies that somehow this became known and maybe people wanted to obsess over what your actions were. Maybe they didn't like it, or maybe they challenged that.
Yeah.
And maybe that in itself also brought a level of contrariness to your life, to the theme of your life.
And then the other card is for the death.
And we have the 7 of Pentacles first. And then we have the 3 of Cups reversed.
I'm beginning to wonder if this wasn't an accidental death. I'm thinking it was not a disaster or catastrophe. It was an accidental death. It's possible you were drunk, or you had overindulged in something and you might have taken a slip or fall and drowned. I have this
feeling. I'm wondering if
feeling.
you were somehow partying at an event, a wedding, a celebration.
Yeah.
And
Maybe it was
you
a harvest ceremony because I'm seeing that 7 of Pentacles there. Some type of harvest ceremony, and
But you maybe slipped into some body of water because of inebriation or something like that, and no more.
bye-bye. So that's what we have for you, Libra. Kayla, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you missed it. But you know what? We are pretty...
Gotta do it again.
We're pretty determined we're going to do it again. So next time, feed those kids in advance. Tell them, I need some time. Get in early so you can get on top of the list, and we'll be happy to do it again for you. Sorry we couldn't accommodate everybody. We knew that was going to happen with these readings because they're longer, but what a fun time.
Right, and it really was about the creativity here that was expressed. And you guys challenged us to come up with some interesting intuitions here. So
Aliens,
we
who would have
appreciate that.
thunk?
Yeah, that was Aaliyah, right?
Yeah, Aaliyah probably got a great kick out of that.
Live long and prosper, all of you.
And we'll see you next time. We'll see you at our live stream and our other shows. But by all means, look for us to do this again. I'm sure we will. We've had a great time.
So thanks everybody for coming. We hope you enjoyed it
Yeah.
and had something great to think about.
And let us know what you think by all means. And of course, we really think it went well. I'm happy. Teamwork.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
We'll
Take
catch
care.
everybody next time.
And we'll see you soon.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Bye-bye.